What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Thursday. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. Towards the end of the video, we'll take a quick look at Litecoin too. I want to remind you guys, there's a free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out. It's an awesome community, guys. If you want to hang out somewhere, learn about and talk about crypto, that's the place to be. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, as always, I want to remind you I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. These are my views and opinions on the market. There is a disclaimer scrolling on the bottom. All right, looking at Bitcoin, the fear and greed index is still at extreme fear. Went up a little bit from yesterday. It was at 20 yesterday, 23 today. So as you guys know, I don't, trade off of this or anything. I just like to keep track of where it's at and kind of put two and two together, see if it helps. Also, want to take a look at the news headlines. Bitcoin price risks massive drop to low 6,000 level before, rise, blah, blah, blah. Bitcoin rival crashed a shocking 70%. That's old newsmatic. Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin price is slowly but consistently falling. Bitcoin price slides to 7,200 as market sentiment turns bearish. So the news obviously is looking bearish. I want to remind you guys too, we'll be doing a free t-shirt giveaway on Sunday. All you have to do to enter to win is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, tick the notification bell, smash that like button, and leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think we're going to fall down further? Do you think we're going to hit 6,900 or 7,500 first? That's what we're going to kind of talk about in today's video. I want to show you something real quick. This is Bitcoin on the 4 hour where we're at right now, and this is Bitcoin on the daily back in 2018 when we bottomed out in December here and then into January. So I just wanted to point this out, the similarities in this. As you can see, we had a V bottom and then it looked to be like an Adam and Eve type formation. Go back over to the 4 hours, same thing. And as you can see, we had this drop here about halfway down. Same thing right here before we, came down a little bit further and went up. I'm going to throw the fibs on this real quick for you guys. As you can see, if we measure, we put the fibs from the swing low to the swing high up here. This drop down, well, first we'll look at this drop, and it dropped just past the 0.5 fib. And then the second drop over here dropped to the 0.786. If we go over to the 4 hour, let's throw this on here. As you can see, this line here, we'll go into another chart here in a minute, but I wanted to show you guys, I had this line drawn in here. I am going to move this down, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But I do want to point out the fibs on this. Just like we looked at it in the daily, if I throw the fibs on the swing low here to the swing high up here, if we look here, we dropped, this is the first drop, just like the first drop over here, just past the 0.5 fib. This is just past the 0.5 fib. Now the 786 is all the way down to the 6,800 level, right about there. So if this was to mock that, not to say it is, but it is interesting. If it was to mock that, it would most likely look something like this. Here's that first dip. Then the second dip would come down to the 0.786 and then up from there. That is a possibility I'm looking at. And we know what happened after that. If we go back over to this, obviously, once we broke that neckline, which the neckline on this is going to be around the 7830 range. That is the range where I would look to go long if we broke this. I mean, go a big long, long-term long. Anyways, let's look at this chart I posted on Twitter yesterday. Then we'll go into the longer time or the bigger time frames, the more macro view, and work our way down. This is in the 4 hour. I had this drawn in there yesterday, and I said depends on the break of the yellow trend. I put it in the Discord group, also into the, let's move this down now. I'm going to move this trend line down to here, and I'll show you why. If we look at the if we look at the RSI here, we are in this channel, and I've had these lines drawn in here, and I haven't touched them yet. We had 2 touches on this, and we seem to be moving up from here. Only problem is we are getting some bearish divergence, suggesting a lower low. But again, if we break this trend line, I'm still looking at the 68 to 6900 range. And if we are to continue up from here, as you can see, I have this white falling channel in here. The top of this channel would be around the 7500 range, 75 to 7550. That's why I put that in the thumbnail. It all depends on the break of this line now, guys. If we do break this line, we're most likely headed down to the 68, 69 level. But like I said, you can really tell what's going on in the RSI. If we drop back below this, down to the bottom of that, the white trend line here would probably be around the 69. If we drop below that, guys, we could be looking at the lower lows that we're going to be looking at in the macro. Yeah, but that is key right now. As you can see, it would look like an ascending triangle. Same thing in the daily. Pretty much here was a ascending triangle. Let me get these fibs off here. But yeah, I did want to point out, though, that one went past the 0.5 fib all the way down to the 0.786, and we went up from there. Could possibly be what we see here, and the 0.786 being at about the 6800 range. Get this stuff off here. Clean this up a little bit, and we'll go into the more macro. Again, if you guys leave your comment down below, enter the winner free t-shirt contest. My wife's webpage, which there is a link to that below the video in the description, inkerimage.com. She sells beer koozies, coffee mugs, t-shirts, aluminum signs, hats. You'll pick the free t-shirt off here if you win in the random comment pick on Sunday. But keep in mind, she can put anything you want on any of this stuff. Any saying, any family picture, whatnot. Good Christmas gift ideas. And this week only, if you do make an order of $25 or more, you will get a free Bitcoin Christmas ornament. So, all right, that's another good way to support the channel, guys. Along with all the other links down below, there's some exchange links that you get a bonus for signing up for if you guys want to dabble in leverage trading or whatnot. Although I do suggest not doing high leverage and not putting in more than you're willing to lose, especially if you're not a seasoned trader. All right, looking at the monthly, we've been talking about this 13 EMA and the 21 EMA right here, which we are still in between. And I had set a break of this around the 7,080 range is most likely going to end up pretty bearish, guys. We may even come retest this trend line down here around the $57 to $5,400 range, and we'll take a look at that also in the 1 second. We've been looking at this as a big bull flag. It's getting kind of long now, still possible, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But I wanted to look at the RSI. Obviously, until this month closes, we cannot know exactly where to put this, but as of right now, we are poking through it. So let's look at the weekly. Same thing. Want to point out a couple things. This is pretty bearish looking, guys, and I do believe we need a push up this week, or this could get pretty ugly as the 8 EMA is crossing over the 21 EMA. And if you guys have been watching my channel, you know that I was saying a while back, the only thing that would make me bearish was an open and close below this 21 EMA, which we've had. And as you can see, when we have that in the past, we usually stay under the 21 for a while. Doesn't mean we are going to, but as of right now, it's looking that way. And like I said, the close of this week is going to be a big determining factor of where we go because of the 8 EMA looking to cross the 21 EMA here. Also, I want to point out that while we're in this formation, our volume is declining. So once we have a breakout, either way, we will get some huge volume, I do believe. Keep in mind, this 200 EMA is all the way down to around the $5,000 range. Let's look at the RSI. As you guys know, I like my RSI. As you can see, I have the support line here, white line, resistance line on the top, which we've got 3 touches on the top, 2, I guess you could consider it 3 on the bottom. We also had this wedge drawn in here with the yellow line. I'll zoom in so you can see it. We broke out right here, which was this our big $3,000 day. And then we came back down to test it, and now we're moving up. The reason I believe we need a big move this week, for one, to keep the 8 from crossing the 21 EMA, and 2, we would break out of this upper resistance line. That would be extremely bullish. So we need to keep an eye on that. Let's go over to the daily, and we'll go into right over here in our daily and look at what's going on here. So this top resistance line right now, if we were to go up within this week at some point, actually it's the 12th, so if we were to go up and test this week, would be around the 9,200 range. A break of that obviously would be extremely bullish, but I would really keep an eye on that. Right now, as you can see, we are getting resistance from all the EMAs right here. The sentiment right now, guys, is really reminding me of the sentiment right over here, right before we had this huge push up. It could possibly be happening. We could get our drop down first before, but even me right over here, I was getting pretty bearish. I'm starting to feel that way again, so I think that could be a sign of a huge move upcoming. 0.618 right now, we are just below it. We were getting support on it yesterday. We fell through, and as you guys know, this is the golden pocket area in between the 0.65 and 0.68. The 0.65 right now is around the $6,875 range. As you guys know, I had this yesterday right here on this wick, moving it down today, and we'll take a measured move. Again, this is on the daily. Measured move, if we were to break out tomorrow, would get us down to around the $58 range on that measured move there. Not too significant as to what's going on right now, but if we look at, let me zoom out so you can see, I have the Fibonacci's from the swing low here to the swing high up here, and the 0.786, guys, is my worst case scenario, and it's around the 5,400 range. That is definitely possible. Keep that in mind. But after that, I would become extremely bearish. I know we do have the support down here, the old resistance, become new support around the 4,100. I know people are talking about all these super low prices, which again, guys, it's definitely possible. I don't know. I just don't see it going that low. I could be wrong, obviously. But let's go into the RSI now. Looking at the RSI, with this falling channel here, this rising channel here, with this being resistance, this line being support, and we had this wedge in here. If we zoom in, we popped out of the wedge right here, came back down, and we have tested it for support. So could it be that we're going to continue up here to retest the top of this falling channel, or even retest the top of this rising channel? That could get us up to that 9,200 range, guys, if that happens. But again, first things first, I'm looking for the 75 to 75.50 area, and if that breaks, then I'd be looking at the 78.45. If that breaks, then we could be looking at that 9,200. But it's very possible we have a big move here coming, guys, because like I said, that's the only thing that's really going to save us from more bearish action. If we get a nice move up this week and keep that 8 from crossing that 21 EMA, if them cross, it's probably going to get even more ugly than it's been, guys. But as of right now, it's looking pretty good. I don't have a target on this particular one here. I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. Somewhere in the 7,550 to 7,500 range, depending. But if this line holds here, guys, we could be coming up to test this. If that breaks, I'd be looking at the 78.30. range. If that breaks, we could go much higher. But keep in mind, if we're gonna mock this one here and do the same thing, which again we don't have to, but if we are, then we're most likely going to come down to the 0.786, which on here is around the $6,800 range. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. Let's see what happens. Can we get above these EMAs right here? Looking at it in the 4 hour, while I'm recording this video, we look like we're coming up to test the 13, which is around the 7220 range. If that breaks, the next point is about 7260. And then the 21 EMA is going to be around the 7350. And then if that breaks, then we're looking at that 7500. But as of right now, this is what I'm looking for, as long as we don't break this bottom trend line here. Appreciate you guys watching. Oh yeah, Litecoin. Want to take a look at that real quick. Actually, let's look at the 4 hour. And if you look at the 4 hour, it's actually making bearish divergence here, so chances are we're going to come down and test this again. If it breaks, we're going to the lower lows. As you can see here in the RSI, we are definitely making bearish divergence, making higher highs in the RSI, lower highs in the price action. But again, that could, change. The top of this trend line here is going to be in the RSI is around that 7,500 zone, I believe. So yeah, let's keep an eye out for that. Looking for that. That may be a good place to short unless it breaks with, some serious confidence, and then looking at the 7830. But we'll see what happens. If it does make it up that 7830, this could be a ascending triangle, which could be pretty damn bullish, guys, especially if it's broken. All right, over to Litecoin. Same thing in Litecoin. I'm looking at this trend line here off of these wicks, 4469 area. Or 45 area, depending on how quick we get up here, would also line up with the 4 hour 21 EMA. If we break that, then we're looking at possibly going up to this old support, new resistance around 4721. If that breaks, that would be the neckline of this 4941 area. And a breakdown obviously would bring us down to this 4135 support, which, as you can see, that would be wicking below this wick here, which if anybody went long, their stops would be down here. That could be a stop hunt before a continuation up. That's what I'm looking at, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to smash the likes, leave your comments down below, and subscribe to the channel if you want daily updates. So, yeah, thanks for stopping in. Take it easy. Have a good day.